an amazing birthday week with all of you. Share your incredible stories with us, because that's ever so inspiring for us to know that the work that we're doing is moving forward, is actually helping people. We've had our week with Hitesh, where he shared some very great insights, and we started our topic on emotions and how some of the tools that he shared as well were all revolving around our emotions and how we can acknowledge them better or accept them better. So this week, what we're going to do, and that is actually at the cornerstone of any shift that we would like, is understanding our emotions and accepting them. So we always say, right? I mean, you read so many quotes these days because that's where the modern day knowledge seems to come in. And all of them speak about how we've learned so many things in school. We've been given years and years of education. You do your school, your college, your university, but no one ever taught us how to love ourselves. No one ever taught us what our emotions are, how important they are, and how to simply accept them as they are. If anything, we've heard years and years of people speaking about emotions and saying, don't get angry, stop crying. There's nothing to be sad about. I see this now for my toddler, because toddlers at that age, so that is the developmental age, 2 years of age, is when developmentally your brain is just wanting to make sense of everything you're feeling. You feel big emotions and you do not understand them. Now that's the time somebody actually needs to simply rein you in and explain you what you're feeling. And more than explain you what you're feeling, give you a platform. So when I talk about giving a platform to a 2-year-old to express how they feel, most people go like, okay, I mean, it's something that is regarded as very over the top. A 2-year-old does not know how they feel. They do not know what to say. But you'd be amazed. They actually do know what they feel, how they feel, probably better than us. They're more connected than we are to other emotions. They simply don't know how to label them yet because society hasn't taught them as yet. I still see, because we cannot regulate the behaviors of everyone around us. We can only regulate our own behavior. And the minute they cry, it's like, stop crying. I've told you enough. There's nothing to cry about. And if they get angry, because they don't understand, they have all these big emotions, this little body. They want to express, they're frustrated, they're either going to cling to you or they're going to want to, sort of hit something. And when that is done, if you're going to hit them and tell them not to hit because it's not right, what are we modeling to them and asking them to follow? These are exactly the things we've heard as well. My 2-year-old, he just saw a baby crying on the television. And he said, stop crying. Now, the thing that I could not distinguish was whether it was coming out of empathy or it was coming out of a stop crying, there's no reason to cry. So I do all I can in simply telling him that, okay, I understand you're feeling something big just now. I'm here for you if you need me. Does not mean you let your kids get away with whatever they feel like doing. Setting boundaries is so important as well. If they're hitting you, telling them, you're hitting me, this is hurting me just now, and it's not okay to hurt people. We're kind people, we do not hurt people. So we're going to stop that now. I understand you're feeling something and I'm here for you, but I will not allow you to hurt me. It sets your boundary and it lets them know you're still there for them. Just because they acted out, so many of our insecurities actually come from that. This isn't even what I intended to speak to you about. But I feel like it is so important because so many of our insecurities come from that point when we were understanding our emotions. Where if we got angry, there was always the risk of someone leaving. Where if I started crying, There was always the risk of the people around me fighting because of me. Now, I did not understand my emotion at that time. I felt so much. And I mean, they will test your limits. They're looking at what to do to understand what is happening. And instead of someone who understands it, helping them make sense of it and go like, okay, you're feeling a lot of things just now. Tell me what happened. Tell me how you feel. And sometimes you don't want to share. Kids are like adults. Sometimes I don't want to share because I don't understand. So you realize sometimes you feel a lot of things, but if someone asks you, okay, what happened? What happened? Sometimes we want to talk. Sometimes we just want to, we're feeling so much, we just want someone to be there for us and tell us, see, I'm here for you no matter what. When you're ready, you can tell me. Sometimes they feel also a lot of things, these toddlers. They just need someone to tell them, I know you're feeling a lot of things. No matter what it is, I am here for you. Don't worry about that. Imagine the seed that would, the seed when it's planted that way, the plant that would create. Where each of us, as we grow up as fully functioning adults, we know that no matter what emotion I feel, it's valid. People are there for me. I am safe. When most of us come to acknowledging our anger, our sorrow, I was in fact going to ask all of you, what are the emotions that you find difficult to accept? So we can work on them through this week. Any emotions at all, feel free to share them with us. The ones that you find difficult to deal with, difficult to accept. But I feel that now that we've started on this note, I think that's something so important because that's where our seed level programming comes in. I've seen when they get very angry, it's like, I'm going to go now. I won't tolerate this. Or it is reciprocated with anger. When they're feeling a lot of things and they're simply acting out, somebody responds to them with anger, which is what they understand as their new way of regulating emotions. When they're feeling sad and they're crying, and sometimes they cry for the most ridiculous things. I know that many of you probably do not have kids that are at toddler stage just now, but this is important to know because it is where our programming has started. So toddlers feel big emotions for even small things. They'll ask you for a piece of bread, you give them a piece of bread. Now they're crying because you gave them a piece of bread. They'll cry because they wanted it at this angle and not at the other angle. You cannot make a bite of something in front of them because they'll cry for that. And they'll be fine. The next minute, they'll be absolutely fine. And it's not like there's something wrong with the child. It's simply a way of development and their brain is growing. They're understanding what are my limits, what can I do. It's almost like when you see I have a baby as well, so you see them, they'll just keep looking at their hands because suddenly they realize they have these things that can move. We all come from that sort of wonder and amazement where, oh wow, I have fingers that can move, wow, these things move, wow, I can hold things with this. Where you will see from the age of 4 months to 12 months, they're simply understanding their body and seeing all the amazing things it can do. And for hours, they'll be fascinated with just their hand moving. I have a 7-month-old, and if I just do this in front of him and keep taking my hand down and up, he's fascinated, very, very fascinated. They want to simply hold it and see if they can bring it close to them, let it go. We all come from that sort of wonder and amazement for our bodies and for all it can do. And somewhere over time, we let it all erode away. If only we connect to that divine knowledge, if only we learn in whatever manner we can. I'm in fact in the process of starting a blog for this, for moms, for people around also actually to understand they're not abnormal. Your kid is not stubborn. Your kid is not acting out. They're simply wanting to make sense of all the million things that go on in their brain because a baby's brain is a lot more active than any functioning adult brain. It is developing. So it has a lot more messages being fired up and being pruned than any adult has. It's a scientifically proven fact that that's true. So when we cannot make sense of our situations, knowing so much, understanding so many things, they're simply wanting to make sense. And all they need is a safe environment to do that. Now, for each of us, as well, we're looking at our programming is done, everything is done. Where at this level and at this point in our lives, can we feel safe with our emotions and to know that it is safe for me to feel the entirety of every emotion I might feel? Now, when we're talking about healing, when we're talking about shifts, we're talking about healing. We could be talking about healing in any aspect of our life: finances, relationships, health, anything at all. The first and major thing that we speak about is acceptance. I cannot heal something unless and until I accept that it's true. So one of the reasons we spoke about even in the week of why people do not heal, we've done a whole week on why people do not heal. Because as much as I'd love to say that everyone has fabulous results, everyone doesn't, because it depends on each person and their desire to heal. We're working with their mind, just the way that when we give a medicine to somebody, we know the medicine is highly effective, but we do know that whether that person's body accepts it or not, and how their body responds to it, is totally dependent on them and their body. So when we can accept that notion for medical science, I do not know why we struggle to accept that as far as healing, as far as understanding the mind is concerned. The mind is a lot more complex than the body. It runs the body to a great extent. So healings work fabulously, but in some cases, people resist that healing. A major part of that resistance is acceptance. Sometimes it could have to do with acceptance of the modality or acceptance of, okay, can I simply change a few of my thoughts and beliefs? And could that actually change my illness? Is that an acceptable thought to me? Once that is an acceptable thought that, oh, I could sit for this morning daily theta session and my diabetes could completely regulate, my pain could completely go away, my relationship could completely change. How many of us can accept the fact that within 30 minutes, 1 hour of listening to somebody or of doing some shift, sometimes even listening helps if I am open to it, a relationship of mine or an opportunity of mine which is stuck for months, which is feeling redundant, dead for months, can suddenly shift and change. How many of us believe that within these 45 minutes of simply listening to somebody and doing some releases, this pain that I've been feeling since last night can just disappear? How many of us believe and accept that whether it is a cancer or a simple headache, they're both simply imbalances in the body's system? We think, oh, a headache got fine in 30 minutes. I get that. Of course, sure, that's fine. That could work. We tell somebody, oh, they came in with a cancer, and after that one session, the scans were clear. The cancer was gone. And then, oh, that's a fluke. Nobody wants to believe that. They'll ask you what else you did. You tell them, I released all this weight with, theta healing, with healing through the mind. They'll ask you what else you did. You tell them a headache, they might or might not accept it. So when we're talking about our consciousness, it's simply to understand that when I have a headache, it is my body showing me that there's some pent up emotions, some imbalance within my body's system. Similarly, when I have a cancer, it is showing me that there is an imbalance within my body's system. It is our group consciousness that tells us, oh, it's cancer, and oh, it's a headache. Everyone has it. It is our experience, which is, oh, I took a crocin. Now we've seen so many people take crocins or have an eno and get fine in a few minutes. So somewhere I have seen it. I believe that that's possible. But we've heard for cancer, you've taken months and months of chemotherapy, radiotherapy, you're taking all these sessions and it's really painful. When we can truly shift our consciousness to A, accepting the problem, and B, accepting that a solution can come about, so much shifts. So while we're going to talk about emotions this week, the first point and the most important point is acceptance. Can I accept instant healing? Okay. This is talking about when people want to heal or why they do not heal, how you might be resisting it. A is that they can accept that they can heal completely out of an energy healing session. I have had clients who you do the session and everything seems all right. They should be okay. They've come for a back pain, which has been chronic. It's been there for months. They've done everything possible. They ask you, what can I do now? And you're like, no, it's okay. Just tell me how you're doing in a few days. I think you should be all right. We've released whatever was coming up. But it is so difficult to accept that thought that without me putting in any effort, when I've done physio for so many months, when I've been told that this is going to take a long while to heal, how do I accept that with 2 hours of a session, I'm going to be completely all right? They've not even given me any exercise. They'll keep coming back to me and asking me, no, it's fine just now, but I feel maybe he'll come back, no? Should I be doing something? I waited for a week until I realized that till I do not give them something to do to occupy their mind, brain candy as we call it, their mind will keep looking for the problem and hence invite it back. They'll keep going, is it hurting? But what do I need to do? So eventually I told them, those exercises you were doing for physio, continue them every day. And then see when you feel like doing it every alternate day. I remember telling one person to simply twist their back and, keep looking left and right and do that. Because their mind needed that to accept the healing. Second comes, can I accept the person I'm doing the session with? Do I accept that they know what they're doing or that they can really help me? Only when I accept them as some authority that knows what they're doing or that can help me, can any healing happen. So before we do a session, we today still take so many calls because we say, okay, if you feel like this is something that this is a person that can really help you, either they want to completely understand the science behind everything and that helps them, or it's the faith in that person. Similar to medical science, I'm going to a doctor, I'm either going to have a million questions, but the point that I am convinced now a person has to have an angioplasty, has to have a major procedure. They're not going to understand the medical part of what happens, how it happens exactly. What do we go on? We go on reliance of the doctor that we're going to, that they know what they're doing. And they have helped me ease my fears and assured me, I know I'm going to be all right in their case. I know they will do the best they can. That acceptance helps us heal to a great extent. Go to a doctor you're not comfortable with, and you'll see how that slows your process of healing. Go to a healer that you're not sure of. You will see the difference. But when you know that, I might not understand everything that's done, but I know that they do. And I know that I trust them. I accept them as a person who can help me. That helps. And third, and at the crux of everything, and the most important, acceptance of your emotions, acceptance of your problem. You come for a relationship issue and you come in and you want to vent. This could be with a spouse, this could be with your boss, this could be with your parents, your children, with anyone. One part is venting, this happened to me, then this happened, and this happened, but they did not understand. But to a very important part is accepting how you feel about it. When someone asks, okay, so how does that make you feel? So many times the answer is, I don't know. I'm okay. I'm sad, of course, but I'm all right. How does that make you feel? How How does that affect you? And the minute we allow ourselves to understand how that makes us feel, to accept that I feel sad or I feel helpless in a certain situation, I feel angry at a certain situation. Once I accept it, I can heal it. Again, since we're doing so many comparisons to medical science, simply to understand, because that is something all of us have accepted. We tangibly go like, oh, of course, this is a reasonable thing when the doctor says, I will do this operation, or I will do this, chemotherapy, or I'll do this session. It's going to cost you X amount. It may or may not work. We accept that. We don't go like, no, I'm paying for a chemotherapy. My cancer should be gone. How can you say it won't be gone? We not only accept that, we accept that it'll have side effects also and may still not work. But we've seen people struggle with that so much as far as healing your emotions is concerned. I came to you for a session. I've been feeling sad for 5 years. I came to you for 1 hour. I should feel better when I get out. Or you're not doing your job right. Why can we not accept, and when we give our bodies that time to recuperate, why can we not give our minds that time to understand, to heal? Most times the struggle comes when we're running from those. Now, similar to, when you know that, oh, I'm not feeling so well, my body feels uneasy, I know I don't feel energetic or something hurts. You could have a gut instinct about what it is, but you will go to a doctor and ask them what it is. You will run any tests they ask you to run to check what it is and to get confirmation of what it is. We all find it acceptable that once we know what the problem is, we're ready to do whatever investigations are needed. Once we know what the problem is, only then is the healing going to start. I'm talking about if I'm going completely from a medical perspective, not where I'm also taking the help of energy healing. But I will say, okay, I feel, say suddenly I'm feeling hot flashes. Suddenly I'm, like feeling all these symptoms. And I will accept that till it's not diagnosed as a thyroid, I'm not to start thyroid medication. Similarly, when it comes to our emotions, so many times we're so set in a notion of how we should be feeling. There are two things. How do you feel? And one is, how should you be feeling? I feel sad. But if I am, one or the other is generally dominant in each person. Either I'm very in tune with how I actually feel, or I'm very in tune with how I should be feeling. Now, don't get me wrong here. Both of these are very, very important. See, somehow when we're talking in these healing forums or, we feel like any question that is asked, even Hitesh had asked you, are you a human having a spiritual experience? Or are you a spiritual being having a human experience? Every single person who was asked answered on the chat, I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. Because that we know that is how it is supposed to be. Yet to acknowledge that we are in a journey where our mind has still not completely accepted that. So we feel very human things. So again, I know in a healing forum, if I'm going to ever ask, what should you be in tune with? How you feel or how you should be feeling? Everyone will say, how I feel, how I feel. I need to be better in tune with that. It definitely, but these are both very important aspects, because the second aspect of how I should be feeling, what people expect me to react or be feeling, that is what also helps us regulate our emotions sometimes. Like I might be feeling very, very, very sad. So I might allow myself to express it. But if I see suddenly there are 50 people, you'll see that is what will help you regulate your emotion for a little bit. The balance and the dance of these two is very, very important. Now, most times, though, we are so conditioned with how we should be feeling. So all the examples I gave you at the start of this session about how we are trained. And I am talking from live example of what I see just now with my toddler. Stop crying. Like literally, there's no reason for you to be sad. We actually say, There's nothing to cry about. Will you stop crying? And while that could be right, they suddenly just look at something and start crying because they're figuring things in their head. I actually have we discuss, what are the kind of toddler tantrums people have faced that year, and that has people from the whole globe. So when we read those stories, they'll be about the craziest of things. They asked for a sandwich, now you put it here. They wanted it at this angle. But now you shifted it. So now they're again crying. But it's their brain joining wires. It is not them that is. But when their brain is joining wires and they're told that their feelings are unnecessary, that the feelings are not correct, they're not even told what they're feeling or helped to decide that there's no need to feel this way. Stop feeling this way. Or I will get angry now if you get angry. So if you hit your brother, I'm going to go away now. I'm not going to talk to you anymore. I've seen so many times, these are things, okay, that are conditioning, but I've seen, even just here in Indian society, it's like, oh, do you want this? Or can I take your brother away? I'm going to give this away to your brother if you don't have it. Are you having it or should I give it away? And I've seen how that affects a toddler. Now, for a child who's all right, they're divine beings. Of course, they feel that little bit of, oh my God, this person who was to dedicate all their time to me now has to dedicate it to someone else also. That's fine. But for the most part, I could see that he was fine. He was oblivious of his brother existing when I brought him in. Later, I could say he was fine giving his stories. He was fine sharing them. It did not majorly affect him till the whole world kept asking, oh, do they feel like insecure? Do they feel this way? Now, when I keep coming to you and you are playing normally and I tell you, listen, do you want this or should I give it to your brother? You have your food or I'm going to give it to him. The baby's not even going to eat. But we say this as a tactic, as a scare tactic, or we think we're so smart when we're doing this and, we're instilling this rush in them to have it. Have it faster than someone else has it. Have it or I'm giving it to them. Now, suddenly, of course, we're constantly programming them that if you don't do what I'm asking you to do in this moment, I will give away all your things to your brother. Till now, there's nobody else over there to compare that with. Now, everything is for you or it's going to be given away. So obviously now they feel like this person gets all my things. We also instill the thing that it's theirs. This person takes all my things. So of course, now I want to snatch something from them because it's mine and they have it. We still, that sense of urgency also that's created, we still operate with that, right? You see an offer and they tell you just the last 2 are going to get it. Sign up now or you'll miss it. We still go like, oh, now I have to sign up. Our psychology builds that way completely. So when we are talking about acceptance of our emotions, which of our emotions was told that it's a good emotion, that it's okay to feel? And what are the emotions that were completely shunned away? Did I shun them? Did I see the people around me shunning them? Because so much of what we do is what we learn from those around us. What we see is what we are learning. So can we accept all our emotions for what they are? Are you happy to feel the spectrum of emotions that you are blessed to feel every single day? These are all things that we want to work on today, no matter the programming. But this conscious understanding is what's going to help us sort of get to that point. I don't know how many of you have seen the movie Inside Out. It's an animation movie by Disney Pixar. It's an amazing movie. It's a movie about our emotions. And it expresses so beautifully our long-term memory, our short-term memory, what emotions are, and how every emotion is important. Talks about our core emotions. And how sad that movie also shows where happiness is constantly shunning sadness away. That don't touch me, I will get tarnished. So every time sadness, that emotion, they've shown little people to depict each of the emotions. Every time that character of sadness goes towards happiness, it's like, no, don't touch my happy ball because it'll get sad now. And slowly over time, how you sort of realize and acknowledge that each of the emotions that is given to us, anger, sorrow, happiness, love, joy, fear, they all play such a vital role in who we are. So accepting how we feel when you are in a certain problem, to let today's takeaway, other than the things we've discussed, at least be that when I'm in a certain situation, even if I simply think of how am I feeling, I'm feeling really sad. My child spoke to me this way. I'm feeling very helpless. I'm feeling very used. I'm feeling whatever it is that you're feeling. I'm feeling very angry. And I accept it and I'm ready to heal it. Just telling yourself that in your mind. We're generally running away from the emotion because I want to be this empowered person. I'm this huge businessman. You can't tell me that, a small negotiation made me sad. I'm supposed to be the sorted adult. You can't tell me that somebody telling me a small thing made me angry or feel helpless. How can somebody who's done so much work on themselves feel these trivial emotions? So we run away from it going, no, I'm okay. How are you feeling? I'm all right. I'm okay. Until my mind doesn't have a problem to solve, it's not going to solve it. If you're okay, then what do I solve? I ask me, I'm like, you're fine. No, then what do you want me to solve? Okay, cool. Go back. So accepting my emotion, simply the act of accepting it is also going to help you heal 50% of it. Because you're allowing yourself that vulnerability. The reason we stop ourselves from these emotions is the vulnerability it brings. So many times we stop ourselves because we don't know what those emotions are. We've never understood those completely. Because every time anger came up, it was shut. So I have never known how to deal with anger because every time it wanted to come up, somebody modulated it in a certain way. Either it was shunned away, or I was told to do one thing with it or another. So now I've grown into a full adult who doesn't know how to deal with my anger and has anger issues because my brain never developed the act of how do I deal with this? What does anger actually feel like? So something I don't know what it feels. I'm constantly in fear of it. So I am constantly, now I go to a person, but because I don't know what anger exactly is, I am giving it all these other names which actually don't fit. So now if I, want to buy this elaborate Indian outfit, I've seen it, but I don't know what it's called. Okay. So imagine a foreigner coming in and they want to buy, they see a beautiful outfit, they love it. They see it on somebody wearing it. They're zooming by, they see somebody wearing it, they love it, they want to buy it, but they don't know what it's called. So they could go to a million shops or designers and ask for it. And they'll ask you, what do you want? We make every type of outfit. What do you want? Now they don't know what it's called. So they will blurt out a few random words that they've heard. Oh, I want a kurta. No, I want a, lehenga. I want this, but they might want sharara pants, but they don't know they're called sharara pants. So they're going to call it every other thing they've heard of. And everything that is presented to them, they're going to be like, no, this is not what I want. They're going to be unhappy from every shop they walk out of because they're like, they don't have what I want. They could absolutely have what you want, but because you don't know what it's called, and there is somewhere you're unable to communicate that, they are unable to receive it and give you what you need. You've tasted something somewhere and it tastes incredible. You go to 100 shops and ask for it but you're asking for something else. So they're giving you the best thing that they have, but it's not what you need or what you want in that moment. Similarly, you might be feeling sorrow. Okay, you might be feeling sad about something. You might be feeling sad that a person spoke to you in a disrespectful way. But you don't know how to process that sorrow. You don't know how to feel that sorrow completely. So you go out and you remove it as anger. You remove it as a defensive behavior, as irritation. You remove it as, oh, it's all right. There's nothing that happened. So now nobody can help you heal that at that given point because they're helping you heal anger. But anger is not what you were feeling at all. Why do we do the whole elaborate digging process? To understand the root of what you're actually feeling, not just what your surface level feels. Because if that was what you felt at a deeper level, you would have already healed it. Our mind knows how to heal us. Okay, so if that was what you were feeling at your deeper level, it would have already been healed. The fact that you've not been able to have progress with any emotion, any situation you're in, is because your mind may not be aware of what it's truly feeling. We've started thinking of modules to take to colleges, to schools, to young people, to tell them, listen, your emotion is important. You're doing a value education in school, great. Let's have emotional education in schools now, for them to just understand their emotions and know that A, those emotions are valid, and B, they once accepted, they can be sorted. So today I want each of you to understand that it's all right for you to acknowledge your emotions. It's all right if you're still learning also. But when you're feeling a lot of emotions, a lot of things, which is what happens in a given situation when we feel overwhelmed, we feel a lot of things at one time. Like, oh, I don't know what to do about this. When you can catch your breath, sit with yourself and go like, how do I feel? Okay, it's okay if you don't have an ideal answer, if you're not a Zen person who feels great all the time, because that means you're real, that means you're human. But I feel so frustrated, angry, this, just the act of saying, and I accept it and I'm ready to heal it. Or I accept it and heal it. Just attaching that statement to it. I feel really sad and I accept it and heal it. It gives your mind the command that, okay, this is what is there. Now deal with it. Your body also has the antibodies to everything. The minute your body detects that this is this type of flu, it can heal it. But till your body is struggling to understand what you are going through, is where your body might really be waging battle, but not knowing which soldier to send to actually help you with the situation. So just, okay, whatever, I accept it and heal it. After some time you're still feeling shit, think of, how do I feel now? And I accept it and I heal it. Simply that one statement can also save you so much of buildup that you might be doing in your body. Okay. And this week, share with us what are the emotions that you struggle with accepting. And let's go through a week where we can see what we can do about those emotions, how we can heal them, and how we can accept them better. Okay. There's a lot of messages that are here. Crying is, I'm just going to read that. Kids confused, sad, scared, wants to help, but didn't know how to. When they get too angry, impatient, and hit kids, it's very sad for the kid to see this behavior. And I see how evil it makes parents. I mean, there is really a lot to understand in the parent, because parents are also not bad people. Our people around are not bad people. We all operate out of the best conditioning that is there, out of the best way we know how. They are also tired individuals who are doing their best to nurture this life that they've created. Okay, I mean, I know that knowing everything as well, when you've slept at 2 a.m. and your toddler keeps waking up 5 times in the middle of the night and not giving you any clue and just crying, and you know you have to get up at 7, you're like, listen, just stop. Please, for the life of me, what do you want? Please stop. Stop crying. Tell me what you want. And they're in the middle of their sleep, so they have no idea what's happening. I'm like, are you having a bad dream? I'm here. What do you want? They'll ask for you and you'll be right there holding them. They'll be like, Mom, Mom. I'm like, but I'm holding you. What more do you want me to do? So parenthood itself is also a difficult journey. I mean, actually, I think to accept that it's difficult is also a big thing, because most people are told, "Oh, we used to do this, all by ourselves when our kids were younger. We had no help. You all have help. You all have so much extra information everywhere that you all obsess over everything. Do not feel ashamed for having help. Do not feel ashamed for living with the times and having the facilities you do today. Most of us are expected to feel guilty about having help or about having things so easy for us. There's nothing you should feel guilty about. Go like, great, thanks. I like that I have help and I'm ready to take it. Okay, so we're gonna speak. I mean, if there are more of you that would want to understand, even for parenthood, accepting that journey, or for those who are not in that journey at this point as well, to empathize with those around you who are on that journey, and to understand kids. But it's like understanding the divine language of the universe when we can understand kids and support them in their journey of growth. And it helps us understand where our programming comes from. Sometimes I don't know how to console. Okay, what we'll do is, because it's been quite long for this session, what we will do is, there are a lot of long messages here. So if Meg, you're here, if you can just have the chat messages sent on WhatsApp, or you guys can send it there. What I will do is I'll also look through them after we finish the session, and any of those things that are needed as far as insights or as far as sharing as we go through the week, we'll use those and speak to you about those, help you address those as well, so that today I can just simply do some downloads at least for everyone, and we can wrap the session. Any other emotions also that you are struggling with, share them with us. I'm going to start with the basic emotions that most people have had tabooed and find difficult, like anger, guilt, sorrow, and we're going to work on those. But share where you get angry and you find it difficult, or where anything that you're feeling that you're finding difficult to process or accept. Share that with us and we can include it in the releases. Okay, and please, the small tip that was shared today, use it. Okay, I'm going to quickly do some downloads for everyone. Somebody is unmuted. I don't know who it is. Okay, yeah. So would you each like to know that I know and understand the creator of all that is this definition and perspective of acceptance, that I know what it feels like, how to, when to, and that it is safe and possible for me to know, understand, acknowledge, and accept that life and the universe has a beautiful rhythm to it, that it is safe and possible for me to be a part of this beautiful rhythm, and to know and what it feels like to live a life where it is safe and possible for me to accept all that is happening in my life, to accept what I'm going through, to accept my emotions, to accept my situation, to accept the family that I am in, to accept the problems I may be having, and to accept, fully knowing well that there is a solution to every problem, and to accept the intuitive guidance of my mind and body, to accept help when I receive it, to accept the goodness of the universe, to accept the abundance of the universe, to accept my wholeness, to know that it is when I am in the energy of holistic and complete acceptance that I can truly move forward in life, to know and understand that it is safe and possible for me to love and accept every part of my being, and to know and understand that acceptance is the key for change, that to release any fear that if I accept something, I may get complacent about it, to know that it is safe and possible for me to accept a situation and to still shift it, to still change it, and to know that it is in fact through acceptance that I can change or transform it faster, to know what it feels like to be in connection with who I truly am, and to be in connection with what I feel, to know that it is safe and possible for me to understand and acknowledge all the varied emotions that I feel, and to know that every emotion is beautiful in its own manner, and that it is safe and possible for me to accept it. To know that as I am in an energy of complete acceptance for myself and for who I am, that it is possible for me to relay this acceptance forward as well, and to receive that acceptance as well. To know that I can be in an energy of acceptance without the need in me to need that acceptance, to know what it feels like to accept the flow of life, to accept emotions for how beautiful they are, for me to accept the people around me for who they are as well, to know that it is safe for me to accept that, to know that it is safe for me to accept and change, to know that it is safe for me to know what I truly desire in my life, and to create that, and to allow acceptance to be a part of that journey. Would each of you like these downloads in every cell, atom, molecule of your body, every area of your life, at all four levels of your belief system, in any and every language ever known or understood by you, for your highest and best, and in your highest and best way? Say yes to receive the download. And to know that I know the fine balance between accepting life for what it is and taking charge of my life. To know that I can accept the beauty of the situations and life for what it is, and still be in charge of my life, and that I know the balance and discernment of the same, and know how to take responsibility within the same as per the definition and perspective of the creator of all that is from the seventh plane, and that I can live my daily life with a beautiful balance of acceptance and taking charge, and responsibility of acceptance and accountability, and that I'm ready for this now, to download this into every cell, atom, molecule of your body, every area of your life, at all four levels of your belief system, and in any and every language ever known or understood by you, for your highest and best, and in your highest and best way. Say yes to receive these downloads. Okay, everyone. Thank you so much for accepting this healing. A big part of what was coming up when I did the downloads for everyone was, first was, of course, that, if I accept a situation, then I won't be able to change it. So, Meg, please make note. We'll be speaking about acceptance and complacency, and also about, okay, I accept life for what it is. Okay, I accept that now I'm in this situation. So somewhere that complacent, that then stopping you from taking accountability for your life. Acceptance does not mean you're not accountable for your actions. Acceptance does not mean you don't take charge of your life to sort of make it what you want. Okay. And that balance is very important, which is why we've done the downloads for the same as well. We get through the emotions that are there, because that's what the point was. But acceptance was so cornerstone to any emotions, understanding them or taking them in, which is why we've discussed this. Use that little tip that we've discussed today. See how do I feel, and say, and I accept it, and heal it. All right. And have a beautiful day. We'll see you all tomorrow at 9 a.m.